Oh, what's up, y'all? Look, so I'm finally finna give you guys my official report. As you guys know, about 2 weeks ago or so, we went to go visit Daniel Foster up in, I think it's Yuba City, I think, something like that, near Sacramento. So some guys went out there to pick up a few birds. I myself took the ride just to observe. Even though I did come back with one pigeon, a bird he gifted me, a breeder cock. What he said was 7/8 biker, 1/8 HR. Okay, that was cool. But that was not my intentions. But I wanted to go really watch. So what I did was I went out there and I actually watched what was really going on. So our friend Jaime, aka James Beltran, better known as the 119. He said people was getting their eyes busted, but it wasn't that kind of experience. It wasn't that kind of experience. Not saying that the birds couldn't have been, but that day it was not an eye-busting experience. What I will say is people need to witness certain traits of them birds for themselves. So let's just say this. It started out, he kicked up a team from 2 separate kit boxes. It was hens. It might have been about 30 of them up there. It could have been more. It was around 30-ish up there. So they were Irish pure, or Irish straight, Irish biker, HR, and maybe a few sparks. I don't think no kit had more than 3 sparks in it. I would say when he kicked them out, they went over the yard next door a little bit, and they were tight. When I said they were kidding tight, they were kidding tight. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. They were tight as a kid. They had a strong, steady wing beat, but they weren't flying fast. But the wing beat was strong. They did do a really nice break when they first went up. Maybe about 11, 12, something like that. But for that first maybe 16 minutes, they flew. After they did that break, they flew for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then they went to this breaking frenzy where they were going at least, I'm gonna say on an average of 15 to 16 seconds apart. If they weren't breaking clean, they was trying to break every 15 seconds. And the breaks might have been 10 to 15 feet. And the birds was right back together. They never really left each other. You know what I'm saying? But the break was scoreable, about 15 feet on average. Some really good spinners, some not so great. But I want to say they were horrible. You know what I'm saying? Some just really good rollers. It was a mixture. It was just some hands he put together. I don't think it was a competition kit. I just think it was some birds put together. But the emphasis was on the kidding and how often they were willing to break. I mean, they were willing to really break every 15 seconds or so. And they did that for about a good 15, 16 minutes, and they shot up real high. So they was up after it was up for about close to 45 minutes. He kicked out another team. And And but it was like about, this kid team might have been 17 to 20 birds, somewhere in there. But it resembled the first group. I can't remember if it was cocks or hens. Another hen kid. But they were the same. They was trying to break every 15 seconds. Like, and they kidded just as good. So, let's just get to the point that everybody keep asking. I'm gonna go right to the point. Everybody keep asking. When people ask me, they ask me, how are the birds? And the first thing they asked me was, how was the quality? So, I'm gonna say it like this. Okay. What was the last quality you got for your birds? Your kid. You guys, which the guys was asking me. Most of the guys in LA keep asking me that. How was the quality? How was the quality? So your last flight, what was your quality? In depth, if you want to say. So it was the average quality and depth of, watch this, of a 1.3, 1.25, 1.3, right? These birds had an average quality, there was so many of them, about a 1.3, 1.35 at best, at a 1.3 depth as best as on the break, as far as the breaks. Individually, the quality could go up depending on some birds, and the depth could go up. But let's just say these birds broke every, I said, the second kid flew, maybe it didn't fly a long time. It might have flew, no, this kid mixed with the other kid, if I'm not mistaken. And then separated it, and then I was a home kid did that. But this kid never got with them. They only flew like 15 minutes, I think. But they might have broke in that 15 minutes scoreable. Maybe 19 times, 20 times, maybe in that 15 minutes. Maybe. Quality would have been a 1.3, depth would have been probably 1.2. So then my purpose of asking them what they breaks and what their quality and depth look like, and then I asked them how many breaks you think you got on average. They said about 7 or 8. These birds had 19 and 15 minutes. So the point they were trying to make was, well, they can't be that good or that deep if the quality, because the quality wouldn't, if the quality couldn't have been that high if it was that frequent or something like that. But your birds had the same quality and depth on average, and they broke a fraction of the time they broke. So they was asking to try to pull the birds down. I said, you put them same birds against you in your region, you lose to them every single time. And we ain't talking about close. It'd be like a big margin. But you knocking them birds for having the same quality you've been getting during your flies. So I said, they're missing the point. Okay. You getting anywhere between 5 to 8 breaks, they getting 19, 20. With the same quality and depth. So, you guys get my point? It's not putting them down. Yes, it is. It is. It's putting them down too. Cause they be trying to bring. The sad thing about a lot of my guys out here, and all my pigeon guys, is when they hear about a good kid or see a good kid, the first thing they do is try to tear it down. I mean, they don't look at it and say, you know what? Damn the bird. Oh, I kept saying is the birds break a lot. So me and Booker, we stood literally shoulder to shoulder, like shoulder to shoulder, talking about what was happening. Booker was asking me, "Are you seeing this, KL?" I said, "Yeah." That's why I came here to watch this. And there were times them suckers just like break, like glue back together, fly about 10, 15 break, like glue back together. I'm not saying they were like super. I'm not saying there was blurs. Like so many people always say, I got blurs, but you go to the fly, you never see these blurs. It's like I once heard a guy say, a competitive guy, not from the United States, said, the birds are so fast, oh, they got to, he said, who cares? Who cares if they doing that? This is not a speed competition. It's a kick competition. Who cares if you're getting birds that can blur out and super fast, but they're not doing it on the brakes? You can't get a break of them. Can you get 5 or 6 of those like that on the brake? Well, who cares? It don't matter. So I said, okay, that you're right. It don't matter. The problem with us here, not everybody, because everybody don't think this way, but the guys know who they are. If they don't change the way they thinking, they're gonna get left further and further behind. Cause I look at the birds, and me and Booker was talking. He said, Kel, you had birds like I said, no, I didn't. I didn't have birds that broke every 15 seconds. I didn't have that. I think my best kick competition when I scored a lot of points was like 29. I don't even think it was 30 breaks. It might have been 30, but I know for a fact it was 20. It was 29 or something like that. What they did was they gave me sizable breaks. I got those. I was getting some good size breaks. It wasn't going on every 15 seconds. And sorry, they was not doing that. Could the kid do that and maintain extreme quality and depth? It's possible. All that's possible. If you can get one individual to do it, you can get 5 birds do it, and you can get 6, 7, whatever it is. But it's not a speed competition. So what I seen was the birds were willing to break every time it was time to break. They get back together, ready to break again. They was willing to do that. They were trying to do that. They were trying to break every 15 to 20 seconds. They were trying to do that. Sometimes it wasn't scoreable. Sometimes not enough of them went. Sometimes I'd been a flutter. But they was trying to do it every 15, 20 seconds. And they stayed tight the whole time. And they never did a figure 8. I mean, they might have changed direction a few times, but they didn't fly no figure 8 pattern. They didn't do that. So I didn't see this figure 8. I just seen birds will be flying, try to break, group right back together, go around, try to break. So they might roll 3 times, roll 3 times before they do a full circle. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I was like, whoa. I'm like, look, these are gonna try to break every 15 seconds. And those were the ones that was the most of his birds were Irish. And he had some bikers mixed in them. He had some biker HR ones. Now, some of the better ones, the mixed ones, I think really a lot of good biker HR. And I seen some biker Irish. Those are the most sound rollers up there. But there was a few straight Irish that really spun really well. Really well. There was a few sparks that spun really well too. In those kits. Mostly hens though. Mostly in the hen kits though. We flew some in the old kit, the old cock kit. Not those. But anyway, so the birds, it's just their willingness to break. What I like. Just straight feed. No prep, no wheat, no straight cut back, just straight feed them what he feed them. They was willing to do that, just like that, like 15, 20 seconds, they trying to do something. Whether it's a flutter or it's too short, they trying to do it every 15, 20, they were trying to do it every 15, 20 seconds. And that's what I liked about that willingness to do that. Now, if you go toward these other birds he flew a pone kit. Some guys know who pone is. That's Razak Sahabadine or something like that. I think that's how you pronounce it. Right. Them birds try to break every 10 to 20 seconds. They was going way often. And they stayed. It was only 11 of them, but they stayed so tight, man. They stayed so tight. They right back together. I was like, and I'll be watching people's kits on videos. And they birds go, they spread out, then they get back to regroup. These birds, like they stay in that cluster. They want to stay in that cluster, no matter what. I Like if they don't do that, they're not gonna get fed. Like somebody got cracked up. You guys stay together. I don't care what happens. You guys stay together or you don't eat. And they stay together. You know, I mean, everybody has kids that do that every now and then, but every kiddie flu did the same thing. Did that, except for that old cock kick. They're the only ones that didn't do it. Like they didn't fly as tight. But he has some good spinners in every kiddie flu. Like, that old cock kid, I don't know if because they was breeders, you know, they ain't really in shape. I might have flew like 15 of them. Those ones right there, you can tell they was older and they weren't in shape, but they might have one or two really good ones. But the other ones, the young kids and stuff, yeah, they had potential. But yeah, the potential was there to get them big breaks and big numbers. I mean, them big the numbers as far as how many times they break. That's what I'm talking about. So it's up to him to get them to that next level. We pick the best ones and put them all together. But he did flew a few impressive birds, like a young kid he flew. He had a cock in there. There was a few of them in this kit, but there was one cock that stood out to me. That made left an impression on me. Was this lavender-like badge cock or ball-like cock? He said it was biker and Irish. I'm not sure. I think Brian had bred it. If not, he bred it off a bird from Brian and one of his birds, whatever it is. But whatever it is, that bird tried to roll every single break or half break he spun, at least 8 to 20 feet maybe. Every single time them birds paused and was supposed to break, he spun. He wouldn't know, I'm gonna do a half tumble. Nope. If it was spinning like 8 feet, 20. So sorry I cut off. I pushed the button accidentally. But every pause, he was going, man. He was going. So I don't know what these I don't know what dudes expect. And this one bird, there was a few of them I really liked. If he had said, Keith, give me this much for this cock and whatever hen you want there. And if I wasn't willing to pay for it, I would have called people. Yo, we need to go. We need to piece up and get this bird, this pair, real quick. Let's get this pair. Let's try this pair out. You know, it's that kind of pair that could move you in another direction, forward. You know what I'm saying? But like I'll tell you guys, them kind of birds is hard to get from people because people don't do all this work and selecting and putting these pairs together and to get those kind of birds and then let them go. That's not what people do, unless it's somebody within their circle. And I know that, so I'm like, dang. Like I told us, I moved nowhere in the world I'd be to get that bird, them birds, because that's kind of like closer to, as far as breaking power, that's close to the ideal that you can get. Only thing he might have lacked is the depth on every time he spun. But he's a young bird. He say like 6 months, 7 months, something like that. He's still a young bird, so can't expect him to do a whole lot. But that's what I saw. So now you guys know. All right. So you ain't gotta ask me. Just come to the YouTube channel. You know, KL Phoenix Rollers. This will be on Roller Chronicles. This on Roller Chronicles. So you guys know. You heard from Keith London. That's what I saw. And that's the part about them birds I'm trying to put into some of my birds. That willingness to just want to break. We got to. Because our birds fly too long and break too less. I mean, our birds will fly an hour and might not even give you 20 breaks. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta fix that. Sometimes we gotta go look for an outside source. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. So you know what to do. Select, breed, fly, select again, repeat. Keep London out. Peace.